Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day. Welcome back to Alone with You. It is time to go meet Mr. Tong in the HoloSim chamber. I definitely have some questions for him, like why he left Colony B when it was falling apart and where did he go. But of course it's quite possible that this digital copy of him doesn't remember that because he was made before the whole schism that broke the colonies apart occurred. But we'll see. Well, hey there. Mac, is it? AF4B 3B told me all about you and your visit to Colony B today. How you holding up? Well, thanks. I'm tired. Glad I'm back. AF4B 3B, so that's the name of the AI. I mentioned in the last video that the AI doesn't seem to have a name, but he does. It's just a string of numbers and letters, is very fortunate to have you. I'm impressed with your resilience. Listen, I hope you can help me out. As I work in here, I realize I have so many gaps in my memory, and it's frustrating. You probably know that at some point, the real me left Colony B. After that, the AI couldn't keep an updated image on me. So I don't know what I did. Yeah, that's what I figured. This copy of him was made before all that happened. I'm worried about what happened. I mean, did I abandon everyone? It's all I can think about. So please, what did you see out there today? Destruction, bodies. I don't know. Saying bodies might make him feel worse, so I'll just say destruction. That is awful. The Rift event disrupted most of our facilities all at once. It was a huge struggle to keep things running. We lost dozens of drones and, well, more than a few workers. Good people too. Engineers and supervisors. I had to step in to fill the gaps. But there was only so much I could do, you know? I thought people would be able to pick themselves up, move on to stay alive, but not everyone could. Especially me. I was very close to the resource manager, Jean Lumumba, back then, but the destruction affected even our relationship. We had very differing opinions on how to deal with things, you know? And I think our fight is probably a big reason I took off. I'm sorry, what fight? I think he was thinking of the survivors as refugees, but I still considered them crew. I was upset that not everyone was coping well. What else did you see out there today? Bodies. I remember what happened when the Rift event killed so many people. We were all shocked. I took it badly, I know that. I had drones working to recover bodies for a while. We couldn't really spare the resources, but people wanted that closure. I just don't think I wanted to see them. Everybody we found was like a personal failure, and without our connection to AF4B3B, we couldn't communicate with our facility. We started to feel hopeless. I could tell some of the workers started to think differently about me then. I was stressed, overworked, but I guess we all were. The place was chaos. It was around then that I started to feel that perhaps I wasn't as well equipped for the job as I thought. What else did you see out there today? Please, the AI seems reluctant to talk about it, and I can't get answers. I just want to know what happened after I left. Dealing with the deceased and wounded put enough strain on our resources as it was. but our connection to AF4B3B was cut as well. They really need to make a better name for the AI. I really don't think in the future that we're gonna call AI by strings of numbers and letters. I really think that we'll give them names, like how Robot Sophia has a name, and Watson the AI, and Siri and all that. I really don't think we're gonna call AIs by numbers, but whatever. That meant we had no contact with Colony A, our facility, and after a long while without outside contact, things were dire. I recall sitting in my office one night, the real version of this simulated room. I was completely defeated. Well, I thought you couldn't remember any of what happened after things split up. But I was supposed to be the director, you know? I had to get it together, put on a good face, so I carried on as best I could. Being the person that everyone is counting on isn't easy, is it? I mean, you know this now. You're all that's left of this mess. But I'm beginning to see that you're the kind of person who can deal with this stress. It's actually kind of comforting. But what if you weren't dealing with all this, say back on Earth? Any hobbies, personal likes? Well, reading was like the focus of last time. I really do like music a lot. I enjoy classical music most. The same music. There were a lot of colonists who used music to help them through the crisis. Some of them even started a band, if I remember correctly. Listen, I know our time here is limited, and I've been going on and on, but you coming here to spend time, it means a lot to me, and I appreciate you listening. You know, this is a lot like a visual dating novel kind of game. At least these parts of it. The exploring adventure parts aren't, but these little conversations with the choices and everything, they're kind of like those romance visual novel games. And this game does say that it's a sci-fi romance. So, and of course, since our character's gender is ambiguous, I guess I might actually be able to choose one of whichever character I like best or something. Maybe, I don't know. But there must be something I can actually help you with. Anything you wanted to know more about? Oh yeah, I'd like to know more about the AI, AF4B3B. I wish I could name him something different. It's asleep now, isn't it? I almost feel bad talking about it behind its back, but I can tell you more, sure. I didn't design the AI, that was another engineer back on Earth, but I sure came to enjoy its company and insights once we arrived here. The neat thing about AF4B3B is that it's so powerful. Given the resources, it can be paying attention to almost everyone on the colony at once. It's like everyone had a friend at their side, though I guess not everyone saw it that way. Some colonists never gelled with the AI. I think part of the reason was that we didn't give it a more human name. Exactly! Why didn't you guys name it? It ended up being less relatable than Hudson Cartier hoped. Come to think of it, I can't even remember what its name means anymore. Most people just gave it their own nickname, and it didn't seem to mind. Ooh, please let me name it. We're all stuck in here. Just having the AI with you out there must be some comfort, at least. The companionship is important. What else do you want to discuss? I'm going to do the schematics last. Let's talk about the escape ship. You are very focused, I'll give you that. Sure, I can tell you a little more about the ship. There were only 2 ships on the project, one in each colony. We couldn't bring more with us. They were complex, delicate, and cumbersome. When the rift event tore our colony apart, the first thing I checked was the escape ship. It was a complete loss. I was horrified. Some of the colonists thought we should be putting resources and drones toward building more escape ships after we were up and running smoothly. I could understand that, but we couldn't afford it. It took everything just to process the planet's resources and run the terraforming operation. The escape ships weren't meant as large-scale lifeboats. They could only fit a few people, but that's more than enough for you and the AI. You're going to succeed, Mac. I just know it. And I promise you, I'll do everything I can to help. Oh man, the thing I've been worrying about is when we go to escape, aren't we going to take these guys with us? I mean, they're just data. We could take them on the escape pod too, couldn't we? I hope we're not going to leave them here behind. 'Cause that's all that's left of these people that died. What else can we discuss? What are these schematics? I seem to recall something I was working on, but not clearly. Let's see. These are definitely mine, but if I had access to network systems, I would have used them. Why would I have hand-drawn these? Unless I may have drawn these up after the Rift event. They look like they're for a new way to reduce fuel usage in the thrusters for takeoff. I'd like to believe I was still trying to help out the survivors. I don't want to think that I just gave up on them. More importantly though, you might be able to use these yourself. If you find any more schematics like these, please bring them to me. Well then, it's late, and you shouldn't eat up too many of the facility cycles on this visit. You need to get back out there tomorrow. Mac, I thank you for stopping by. I hope I'm able to provide some insight into what happened. If you can, though. I must have tried to help people out. I have to believe that. If you find any more schematics, proof that I tried to help, please let me know. I will. That's what I like to hear. Until next time, I'll be waiting. Yeah, so he didn't know why he left or anything. He was made before that, like I thought. Seemed like a pretty nice guy, though. I don't think he would have abandoned people. Maybe he left because he was hoping to do something that would have helped everyone, but he never made it back. So I think I'm supposed to go to sleep now. Good morning once again. The hologram seems very motivated. Did you have an enjoyable time last night? You bet. Good guess. Is that okay? Sure, you bet. Excellent. Our decision to augment our efforts with the holograms is proving to be the right one. This is great news. As long as they feel inspired to aid you, I believe they will excel in their work. Please keep this in mind. There are 2 more areas you can explore to further our goal. Come see me in the core again, and you can begin your day. Actually, that conversation was really short, so I'm going to go ahead and explore the next building in this episode. Need to go talk to the AI and review how things went last night. There are still 2 more areas I'd like you to check out while we can. Please go south to the shuttle bay to choose your mission for today. Remember, you can choose an area When you choose an area, you can see which hologram is associated with that area, if that's important to you. Yeah, I did a guy last time, so I'm going to do the other woman, which is the agrodomes, I think, the greenhouses. Let's go see what that's like. Yeah, Leslie, agrodomes. So I really wonder if eventually I'm going to get to choose which person to continue to develop my relationship with, if this is like some kind of romance dating game or whatever. This is the main grow dome in the facility, where the colonists used advanced hydroponics to grow base foods for processing. You can't see it from the ground, but the top of the building is like a giant round basin and was designed to catch the rainfall and collect it. The top layer of the building processes the rain to remove its acidic elements and treat it to be potable and sustainable for plants. Once you're inside, you should be able to see the various grow rooms, but my readings seem off. Something's not entirely right. Uh-oh. Do we have some mutant plants in there? That's not right. The decontamination chamber you're in should be scanning you and clearing the air of toxins before you enter, to protect the operation inside. It doesn't appear to be working correctly. Be careful in there. Based on what I'm reading, the facility seems to be in quite a state. Remember, we're here to find salvageable plant samples that we can use to keep the food processors running here until we escape. But first, you should find something that would indicate what the crew were dealing with. Try looking for research notes on tablets or desks. Okay. Those research notes, handwritten by multiple people. Things must have been chaotic. Based on these, I can confirm 2 of the crew members. Leslie Bardawaj, of course, as the facility manager. She was always on duty, and she would have been here to the very end. Ashley Hainsworth, the chief genetics researcher. She and Ms. Bardawaj had very different points of view in their personal logs, if their personal logs were any indication. Personal meaning so? Oh, I don't pry into personal communications. Well, not while they were alive at least, but in the past while I've been looking into everything. Ms. Bardawaj was an excellent leader, though a bit of a reluctant one. She preferred consultation with her subordinates and open discussion. Ms. Hainsworth, on the other hand, felt that leadership required a stronger hand, and as the situation got worse, their differences became more pronounced. So there was some conflict over who should lead. Leafy Greens Chamber 2. That's inaccessible right now. Agroponics Dome Administration. Got lots of different ways it can go, except for the ones blocked by plants. Wow, lots of places to go. I guess I'll go here first. It looks like a seismic event collapsed one of the walls here. You may be able to squeeze through, though. Not yet. I like laboratories where plants have overgrown. I think it's a cool aesthetic. Like in the Metroid games, when you would be on a space station or planet or whatever where all the plants have overgrown where they were doing research on them. Doesn't look like there's anything in here. Oh, there's a body. Oh, I'm sorry, Mac. You appear to have found the corpse of Arlo Jaeger, the production supervisor. His body is trapped beneath the rubble from that wall. It looks like he attempted to keep himself alive with the produce in that room, but either the tainted crops got the better of him, or help simply never came. Pass through the rubble. Okay. Look at note. It's a note from horticultural technician Florent Marchand. Special ventilation for this room is permanently shut down. Nothing we can do about it. There's an addition. If you two could have stopped bickering, maybe you'd have done your job, and these crops wouldn't have failed. Probably talking about the two leaders, or the leader and the person who wanted to be leader. So it looks like the main problem in this facility was the conflict between people that thought that they should lead. Okay, is that all that's in here? What am I supposed to be finding again? I don't remember him saying that I needed to get a certain number of parts or whatever. Guess we'll see. It's a note from horticulture technician Florent Marchand. Please note, solution tubes are leaking due to faulty seals. New ones are being printed and will be installed. I know it sucks, but I'm backed up with repair requests. Doesn't seem to be much to find that's useful. Oh, look at rubble pile. The dome is in pretty bad shape. It looks like walls have collapsed and there's a lot of damage all around. There are other labs around the other side of that corridor, but you won't be able to access them. We'll just have to focus our efforts here. There are flowers growing at the base of the vines. They appear to either be resistant to the toxins that have invaded the dome or a result of them. Likely they took root within the filtration and drainage systems below and crawled their way through that grate. Another note from Florent Marchand, the horticulture technician. It reads, the ceiling tracks were damaged by the sudden growth of vines. Due to damage, auto sprinklers haven't been able to move correctly. This room is probably beyond repair. Still not a whole lot of anything useful. Wonder if there's things in that note that I'm supposed to be... it's going to be useful later. Man, there's really not anything useful around here. Last room, I guess. Can't go over there. Administration. Hopefully this will be more useful. There are an assortment of reference texts as well as leisure reading on the shelf. There is also a collection of holotapes. Oh my, they took they look to be bootleg movies. There are drama, action, and even romance films, all entirely illegal copies that someone must have covertly brought with them or scanned via the interspace net. If the situation wasn't so dire, I would be inclined to note this in my next report to the Hudson Cartier Mission Control, but given the circumstances, it hardly seems a priority. Good work. You've found something that can help us. According to these notes, a toxin of some kind compromised the whole facility, impacting food growth. There's a detailed analysis on the toxin here. I might be able to use these formulae to configure your scanner. Yes, this will work. You should be able to scan whatever plant life you come across now and determine if it's suitable for processing. We need to find specimens that are at least 60% viable for processing. Oh man, I wish I would have come to this room first. Oh well. Password required. This machine is timed out and requires a passcode. Do you want to enter a passcode? I don't think I have one yet. It's a note from Florent Marchand again. Use the processing machine without my say-so. Use of the processing machine without my say-so is expressly forbidden. Since you keep going around my back, I've password locked it. You want in? Pay attention to my warnings next time. So how do we get the password? Good find. That datapad still has some power left and doesn't seem to be password protected. Let's see if there's anything of use. It seems to contain a private chat thread between Ashley, the chief genetics researcher, and Arlo, the production supervisor. I'll read it to you. So now you see what I mean? Arlo, yeah, it's like she's afraid to make a decision. Ashley, exactly. She seems to freeze when things like this happen. I agree that this situation with the toxins needs to be dealt with more quickly. Ashley, don't be so diplomatic. You're sounding like her. I think we have a huge problem here. She needs to make a decision. The chat log ends there. It seems like some of Leslie's subordinates didn't agree with her leadership style. Yep, like we've been hearing. Okay, so now I gotta go back around and scan the plants to see if they're useful. Oh, here we go. Well, this is a surprise. This plant is entirely unknown, and none of the varieties commonly grown in the domes. Somehow it has thrived within the toxic environment. Your scan shows it's 92% viable for processing. Cool. Wonder how many I need to get. That's not. That's not. Ah, here we go. Maybe. You've scanned Rampion, an ancient earth vegetable. Geneticists recently revived the strain for its hardiness and nutrition. Excellent work. This leafy green is still 70% viable for processing. Okay. I think we're getting stuff that I can eat in the escape pod. Or grow to eat. This is promising. That spinach is generally quite rich in nutrients. Lab modifications have made it exceptionally so. It's been compromised somewhat by the environment, but we can still use some of it. It's 61% viable for processing. Okay. Nothing else here, I don't think. Okay, here we go. You've scanned some modified potatoes. Their rich color comes from the extra vitamins and minerals they carry. It looks like these potatoes were heavily affected by the toxins. They're only 30% viable for processing. Okay. Probably need to go through here. Probably that. Oop. Yep, the flower. An unknown species of flowers has sprung up in this hydroponic system. It appears to have mutated from another strain. I'm checking the flowers again to see if these are even viable as a food source. It appears not. They're too alien for our systems. These flowers are barely 5% viable for processing. Okay. Last room that I can access. That lentil plant still looks fairly vibrant. The surface detail suggests it's mostly intact. Yes, the scan confirms it. Excellent find. That plant is 89% viable for processing. Those green bean vines were once fast-growing and efficient, but they appear withered and dry now. Unfortunately, the scan confirms this. They're not even 7% viable for processing. So have I found everything yet? I'm wondering if these notes have something hidden in them for the password. Ooh, there's something in bold. Maybe there's words in bold. I'm gonna write down sucks to see if it is the password we need. I'm gonna check the other notes, see if they have any all caps words. Thick vines have taken root here. You won't be able to pass through these right now. The note in here was through here. Yeah, I knew it. I remember now. There's things in all caps in every note. Job. So sucks. Job. I'm gonna go back, check all the notes, see if we can access the data thingy. I like puzzles like this that aren't immediately apparent. You have to kind of think about to figure it out. It's not like telling me, ooh, this is a puzzle you need to figure out. It's kind of like a alternate reality game where stuff is hidden where you don't expect it. This. Oh, is it this job sucks? That would be funny. Yeah, it probably is. It's probably this job sucks. But there's one more note, but it's the note about there being password protected. Oh, it says pay attention to my warnings this time. That was the clue that the warnings had the password hidden on it. Okay. So I know the password now. It's this job sucks. Let's do it. This job sucks. Yay, we did it. It's a processing machine. Colonists could take crops and turn them into raw materials for the food processors and life support systems. However, it looks like it's been reconfigured. Judging by the data, Ms. Bardawaj and her crew were trying to create an herbicide to fight off the invasive vines. It looks like they partly succeeded, but they may have had to abandon the dome before their work was finished. How so? Why? Okay. Why, I guess. Likely another seismic event forced them out. Someone began an automated procedure here, but didn't collect the results. By activating the machine again, you've confirmed the procedure. According to this, a successful herbicide was made. The machine should disperse it to the slot beside you. Yay, now I can enter the other rooms. That herbicide can be applied directly to vines. Are there any areas where vines are getting in your way? Of course there are. Let's see what happens when you apply the herbicide to those vines. Yay, that was easy. The vines seem to have receded. You can access that area now. These were flowers that Ms. Bardawaj was growing. She seems to be using substantial resources purely for aesthetic purposes. A certain percentage of dome production time and materials were dedicated to this, for psychological and community purposes. I don't believe this effort, however, was within the allotted amounts. Ms. Bardawaj seems to have taken quite an interest in flowers. What is unclear, however, is whether these were grown during normal production or after the toxins set in. Either way, this broken bulb has been too greatly affected. We cannot use them for our purposes. That broken bulb contained chicory, which was often used as a coffee substitute. The flowers look fairly healthy. Unfortunately, prolonged exposure to the air and polluted water there means the plant is only 23% viable for processing. Okay. Anything else in here? That printed photograph is faded and damaged, but I can still make out its general image. It appears to be a breed of canine known as a corgi. Oh no, it's a doge. The dog is at an earth farm of some kind. Corgis are often used for small-scale herding of animals, such as bovines. Their diminutive stature allows them to avoid being kicked. Maybe Ms. Bardawaj knows something about this dog. You can ask her about it when you see her in the holosim chamber. Yeah, most of you probably know that corgis are the dog used in the meme Doge. Oh man. Oh yeah, and there was something in the main building about Mr. Somebody's dog. I wonder if it's a corgi. Oh yeah, last room with the vines. Uh-oh, another dead body. I regret to inform you that you've discovered the body of Florent Marchand, horticulture technician. His remains... Oh, I thought Florent was a woman. His remains are quite old, and your scan reveals little in how he died. There appears to be severe trauma to his skull. That could be from a heavy blow or sudden impact if he fell. There is a ladder there, suggesting he was using it to repair something, but I can't be sure. I bet somebody murdered him because they got sick of his his sass. That's specifically modified garden cress. This variety is far more nutritious than its natural version. It looks like that plant survived, but you're in luck. It's 78% viable for processing. Well, you seem to have scanned everything you're going to find in there. There isn't much more you can do. It's unfortunate that the facility is in such poor shape. At least we were able to salvage something for our food supply. This doesn't solve our long-term goal of stocking the escape ship, but at least it stabilizes things while we keep working. When you're ready, head back to the shuttle and plot a course back home. That'll be it for today. So we still don't have a clear image of what happened here. There was some kind of conflict between Leslie and other people over leadership, but we didn't find Leslie's body. Oh yeah, he said something about other people were forced to leave. There's one building on the map that I don't have access to yet. I'm guessing if a lot of the people went there, because we don't know where Mr. Tong or Leslie went, so maybe they all met there. The poisonous plants that have invaded that dome are strange indeed. We were fortunate to find even as few samples as we did for our use. It looks like Ms. Bardawaj and her staff were scrambling to figure out how to combat the toxin and revive the food system. After the Rift event, so many things fell apart. We're discovering more and more evidence of that. I suppose there's nothing more to be done there. You should get back to work and out of that rain. Oh, yeah. So yeah, this is the one that I can't access yet. I'm guessing that's where the leaders all went, because we haven't found the bodies of any of the leaders. So I'm probably going to find them later, and that they went there for some reason, whatever that place is. That was a long day, wasn't it? Come see me right away and we can get your mission scans synced and sorted. Okay, all the data you collected today is synced and ready to be worked on. You did well out there. Since you went to the agrodomes, you'll be able to visit Ms. Bardawaj in the holosim chamber tonight. You can retire to your quarters when you're ready. I'll call for you when the holosim chamber is available. Cool. Rest for a while. It's time, Mac. The holosim chamber is ready for you now. Just head in when you're ready. Have a good evening. Okay, so we met with Mr. Tong in the holosim chamber, and then we investigated the agrodomes and got information about Ms. Bardawaj, which we will be meeting in the next episode. So, I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day, and I'll catch you on the next day that I am Mac.